Greetings. Greetings is another good one. Got a few of the other cats here. Tangaruru's here. Got the Tangaruru sandwich. And Jason and Phil Alves. Yeah. What's up? And Dave. Alrighty. We'll just give it a minute for the any laggers.
How do you use one of those seafood chairs?
Sorry? A seafood chair? What's a seafood chair?
Those big Chinese chairs that just
I like from Game of Thrones, that one?
He's made of us. You got a big chair for him. You can't.
human
Chair.
And do you mind letting him in? Sorry. That's all right. We've got some more people jumping. Alright, there was a few people had the same problem, which makes it easy for me. If you could all just have the same problem every week, that'd be great. Now, the first problem that I saw, and this was actually Jace, Rian, Mike, and Han. You all had this. Mike, it was Jace, and Rian. You all had this problem. Hey, Matthew, what's up, buddy? So, at varying times, and it was usually when the pressure increased, what would you come from? You come from your stance in this position to a lean. So now you see the way I'm resisting Noah's pressure is by my upper body pressing downward towards his body. Right? So the problem now is that because Noah's already quite well centered, he's going to be able to uproot me because I'm no longer connected to my legs. So you'll find that would be the times when you guys were getting uprooted. So that's just the kind of, okay, I'm trying to deal with this incoming pressure, so I then start to lean, and you see the disconnect, right? I'm doing it on purpose, right? See the disconnect from my legs. So what should you be thinking about instead? Earth, tail, crown. There should be a sense of connection there now. So now I feel like I'm coming from my knees and my elbows, so now I'm coming from here. So you're coming from the stance and the elbows. You're coming from the elbows and the knees, not from my upper body, go forward, not my upper body pressing that way. This is a no-no, and that's why you'll feel that people can either easily uproot you, they're going to easily uproot you, or you're going to feel you're using too much force from your shoulders. So you guys feel that your shoulders are going to be, shoulders, yeah, okay, there you go. So because of that lean, so if I do it wrong, and then as this pressure comes in towards me, my shoulders have to deal with that pressure. So that's why your shoulders are getting so tight, because you're not letting that pressure come. So what's the change? As Noah slowly puts pressure in, I bring it back to my legs now. Now it's not my shoulders dealing with it, it's my legs. So structurally, this is more efficient. So this is like that first part of the exercise we're doing today, where you want your structure to be aligned, so that you're not dealing with it with your muscular system. Okay, so that's the first part. That was for Jace, Rian, Han, and Sterno Inferno. But there were some other different pieces. For Mike, for example, you want to, and this is something, a lot of these points are pretty much for everyone, because any suggestion I make, you should all be doing, but you want to get your crown to crown, because I've noticed people are coming through over your arms. So if I borrow you, so you'd be on and you'd be defending quite well. So people will be coming into attack with the Sterno Inferno, and he's defending quite well, but then you can see that he was like looking here, and then this line so people would come through sometimes over this line. Whereas if he just senses his crown and places, because remember, the power plane is your center from earth to crown, placed onto their center, earth to crown, power plane. So if Sterno senses his whole center and places it on mine, crown to crown, if I go to attack through that line now, he knows to defend it. So crown to crown was the problem for you. It looked like you weren't too bad with the legs when you weren't leaning, meaning you still have a good stance on, but when you'd lean when the pressure was too much, and then you'd lose the crown to crown connection. Externo, crown to crown. I think the lean for Mr. Handman, Jace, and Rian, that should be your main focus. So just get rid of that lean. Better to. No. It's better that when the pressure is too great, so as he slowly puts pressure in towards me, right, so now slowly putting pressure, rather than me using the upper body to lean and deal with it, now it comes to my shoulders and arms, right? It's better that I would keep my stance on, yeah, and as he comes on, ultimately it'd be better if I don't go back, but keep putting pressure. It'd be better if I just ride and keep my balance, yeah? See, I keep structurally upright and I don't use force from the upper body. That means I'm going to be able to continue on much longer if I'm not using force there. Cool. That makes sense? Any questions on that? Okay, cool. Alrighty. Long, where is he? Long. Heavy long. So Long, and look, to be honest with you, everyone was looking pretty good, and Long even improved a lot too. Like Long was quite aware of his whole body. He was keeping a good focus to the opponent. But the problem is, watch out as I put pressure on Long, or as Long puts pressure on me. You know, there's nothing really attacking my sense here. My sense is kind of chilling. He's not precise enough with his placement. Where are you aiming? Nowhere. I'm aiming nowhere.
Center.
Where are you going in life? What do you mean by center? Where, precisely? Tell me literally exactly where you're aiming. Yeah, I guess. Okay. Yeah. Now he's starting to aim my spine, see? Yeah, so Long's placement was just forward, not precisely to the, and I suggest it's not even the spine, it's the back of the spine. You could even say it's like the skin of the back. Now, can you let whoever's coming in? So what's the difference? As if we're doing balance control, right? And you're trying to go my balance, I'm trying to go balance, yeah? You should notice that any time I move, you'll see that long center is affected. Because my attention is always at his center, so on the back of, at the back of his center, as opposed to just forward. If I'm just forward, there's nothing actually connecting to. So everything goes through the power plane to his center. So I'm always constantly focused at his center, through the power plane. So I feel a sense of connection to him constantly. So that's what Long needs to do. All the time. So he should always have everything placed from his center, placed on my center, precisely, even slightly behind him. So as he makes his spine nice and tall, gets the good feeling quality, places it on my center. Yeah, so now you see he's affecting me. He wants to keep this no matter what. So as we keep balance control, you're attacking my balance, yeah? He keeps it on me all the time. So no matter what, I'm always destabilized. You've got to remember, this is the specialty of our system. The internal, thank you. The internal Wing Chun system taught by Sigum, by our master, was that we shut down an opponent's skill. And a big part of that is making sure you're placing correctly. Meaning you're placing your center on their center. And then you can say, what do you mean by that? Centering your intention. So you're putting your intention of your center, so your mental body, the golden body. But I think the way Sigum taught it, and it feels like, was that he would use the mental and emotional body as one. He would say, the Nim Tao leads the Chi. He never spoke too much about emotional quality. But the reason I brought emotion is because that's the indicator when you have got the mind on spirit. Because he would talk about like a feeling of happiness, like a good feeling, but he never specifically spoke about it in regards to kind of, where it would be, right? Centering in your intention is the gateway. You make your spine tall, you get the good expanding sense of consciousness, you place your center on them. And that is all you focus on. Because then as you sense the rest of the space and the sinking, it funnels into that. So by you placing your intention onto their center, that should automate everything else because you're already very relaxed. Kind of, you got a nice sinking and a very good calmness to you. You just need to get more intentional with where you're putting your mass, momentum, intention and energy. Yeah, like I asked you, where you're putting it forward? Your spine, I guess. So like that guy there kind of, but like maybe even think the hairs on my back maybe would be a good direction, like the skin and hairs of your opponent's back, and just be very precise with it, like a blade cutting through. Cool. Alrighty, K-Man, I've got a suggestion for you. The suggestion I've got for you, K-Man, because I noticed when you get under stress, like meaning a lot of pressure's coming at you, what you tend to do as the stress comes on, is you tend to point your feet out, and as you put pressure on, you see what's happening. See how I'm using that place, the inside instep and the sole to take the pressure to the back of my foot. Yeah. But this is what you do when the pressure's great. When it's not much pressure, you don't do that. You kind of just go more upright and you're not even bothered by the pressure. But when the pressure's too great, so if I put a lot of pressure on you, you go to that on purpose, do it on purpose, you use that structurally, right? So what I was thinking might be a good thing to try is that when you feel that kind of pressure, to go the opposite way. Like bring your feet even together. Kind of like Ma would. Yeah, Ma, yeah. So that you have to use the expanded center. Yeah, if you had you've already got it. Yeah. So I thought that might be a good way to rewire the habit of going back to the directed structure that we spoke about. So, for example, let's say the pressure's too great, and you go back to that old way, right? Use that as a trigger to go to the Ma stance. Yeah, and then from that, see what I mean? I thought that might be a good trigger to rewire that habit. Because if you start doing that every time you get that pressure, you start getting here, that should self-cancel. See what I mean? Because this is what I'm thinking. How do we change that habit of shoulder, elbow, wrist structure to the expanded center? Right? And I think that, try that. And it might be, or figure out your own trigger, but I think that might be a good one. Cool.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Who we got next?
Is that all making sense, team? Thing is that every point that we bring up here is something that everyone should be doing. So it's not like it's separated to the individual that we're talking to. Like it's still valid for everyone. You know, because you may be further along or further behind in the journey. But Mariana left. I was going to give her another correction. Alrighty. T-Man, where is he? The T-Man.
Oh.
T-Man. Good first class. Well done. That's his first class. Not bad for first class. Or as Noah says, I don't know why Noah says it, but Noah says, Tingaruru sandwich, eh? No, what is it?
Tingaruru sandwich, eh?
Like, he literally walks around at night time singing that song. He walks around, so he's cleaning the dojo going, Tingaruru sandwich, eh? Don't know. We need to make a shirt. We need to make a new shirt, Tingaruru sandwich.
Done.
So, yours, I'm just going to suggest you just got to get the shapes, but if you can make sure that you keep toes in, knees softly bent to the center, make that your primary, then you're going to save yourself a ton of time. One of the biggest problems people have in their Wing Chun career is this: it's just pointing their feet out, and then you lose half your body mass, right? Just get used to doing this. So I noticed you tapping you a lot, like a lot of this. So even if you just focused on that for the next 3 days, just keeping your toes and knees in, like Pat has really gotten good at that. Like when he first came along, he was captain outside feet as well, but now he's keeping the focus, and his power's, his power's going a lot better, right? Yeah, because you can keep, because think about it, the direction of the mass is in the correct way. Like, you know, when you're here like this, your mass is either going down into the floor or out to the sides. It's a waste. So yeah, that'd be the main thing, nothing too crazy. And then also, guys, when you're training, just get his shapes right. Yeah, I mean, you did good for your first session. Well done, T-Man.
Thank you.
Massimo! Bene, come stai? Yeah, so the problem you're having is the triangulated focus still. So when it gets to sparring, I love watching you fight too, because he's a fiery one, right? He fucking throws punches in bunches. So even there, see how it's what I mean is it's very triangulated, okay? Yes, it's very much on this line, right? Here. So what I want you to do is open the whole line up. I want you to feel like, so if you stay there, you should really feel like the power plane funnels everything on a line exactly from where it is. So the energy of his brain will go this way. Yeah? The energy of his shoulders will go this way. Of his ribs, it will go this way. Of his hips, it will go this way. So that we have a nice even wedge. It's not so much a triangular prism as it is a, what is it? A parabola?
Angle.
Sorry?
A concave angle.
Yeah, like a concave angled prism. You understand the difference, right? Because there's an arc here.
Yeah.
It's not a triangle, right? So if
Parabolic prism.
a a parabolic prism. Is that true or did you just make that up?
I just went with the flow.
Okay, so Jace called it a parabolic prism. So that could be right. So
Parabolic
if
sandwich, eh?
a parabolic sandwich, why is everything a sandwich? Must be hungry. All right.
Yeah.
So if Massimo can keep his focus on the whole center, so I'll make an example. If I'm just attacking through here, right, then I've got an attack line on this line. So it's all, but the problem, there's a couple of problems that happen. First thing is that he can hit my face. Yeah, see how easy that was? Yeah. Second thing, he can hit my belly. Yeah, because I'm closed on those lines. So you've gone over this before, but it's an important one. But if I open up my whole center to his now, as he goes to attack up and down, you'll feel this, it's guarded now. Because my center feels that it's directed to his. So it wants to, maybe we should go a little closer. So because my center wants to go to his, my arms know that it needs to protect those lines. It's like aware that this is going this way, and it's like, okay, it seems like I need to protect this line. Whereas if I start consciously forgetting that and aiming down towards his center, do you feel the weakness in my, it feels like he can hit me now. Like, see what I mean? Whereas if I keep the same position, but I aim up to his head now, there's something stopping you now. It's like your intention leads your energy, leads your body. Whereas my master would say, the Nim Tao leads the Chi. The mind leads the energy. So if my mind, in my center, is directing it to his center in a plane, then my mind is leading the energy, which is leading the body in that direction, hence covering those lines of attack. Does that make sense? Awesome. So that's what Massimo wants to do. He wants to think of his crown and his earth all funneling straight towards me. Now, as the party starts and we start throwing punches more, feel how now you're so much more closed through your whole center. Make sense? But I've noticed sometimes when the party gets too excited, you go, it's way too narrow. You think of being narrow like this, if that makes sense. Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. Massimo. Alrighty. So Noah. It was only a small one, but it was still an important one, probably. So when we were doing break and enter rounds, where we... Someone said that? Not behind you. Somebody say something. So when we were doing break and enter rounds near the end, boys, where we were doing break off and enter, I've noticed sometimes Noah's forearms would turn off. Simple as that. Which would make it easier when people, if your forearms are off, then people should turn it off on purpose, right? As they break in, it's easy to crush through. So you want to have that sense of everything being magnetized into the power plane. So if Noah activates his arms, right, just stationary, okay? But just activate your arms. So are you holding a ball or something?
Holding a sandwich. Two sandwiches. This guy.
So have a correct guard and activate your forearms. So as they come through, come on, turn it on. Turn it on. Turn on your stance, structure. Okay. So forearms are better, but your hands are not. Feel that?
Yeah.
Could you see his hands were off?
Yeah.
That's better. Yeah. Now there. So be active. So when you're doing the break and enter, what you're doing is you're coming off and then you just like, and then people are crushing through like that. Turn it on so that you try to crush through. That's right. But you are going backwards, so they're doing. So once again, have it on. So we'll break and enter, have it on. Because then at least he's gonna go with his whole stance, as opposed to go floppy, crush through. Get the idea? Yeah. So that was a hands thing for you. Alrighty. Make sense, Noah?
Yeah.
And that was only happening in the B&E rounds. That wasn't really happening at the break and enter rounds. Yeah, Tina's all about that. Alrighty, last but not least was Pat. You're keeping it on both sides. You're keeping your whole body active and focused through the power plane quite well. You're keeping your state quite calm and relaxed, which is good. The hole I was seeing for you is kind of similar to Noah's. When you were going long range, you were going left, right. when there'll be a break in contact, you go left side on, right side on. So, but in close range you weren't. So I was like, oh, I found that interesting. That when you're in close range, you were keeping both sides on quite well. So if we're here and we're doing fancy pansies, yeah, there's an activity from both sides. So watch. See how both hands were springing at me straight away. So there's an activity from both sides. Once we were getting into longer range and you were coming in for attack, well, what's happening is, see, one side. So if you do it again and it's one side, then see, I've got the other side. Both sides. Should be both sides. Should be the whole state comes through. So as you come through from a long range, you have both sides. So both sides. See it's still off? Right. Everything should be active always. That kind of makes sense though, because you haven't really been practicing Chun or pivoting, so it kind of makes sense. But let's be better. So as you step through, if you just step through towards me, just keep both sides. If you had the back side starts to turn off, so it's the same thing on this side. So both strikes would always be on, just in case they're throwing an attack from there, or if your attack line opens. Because what happens if this strike's coming through, but it gets met with force? And this one's not on, it should be ready to fire. So that one could fire straight away. So both sides should always be on. Kind of similar to Noah's one, but yours was more from the perspective of you entering.
That makes sense.
Yeah, good. I mean, so that, like I said, pleasure. Like I said earlier, the stays on all the time. All we're doing is state training in a different format. Whether you're doing state, whether you're doing form, whether you're doing look sao or chi sao or techniques, it's all state training. It's all about being in state all the time. Infusion of the spirit, sensing the space, targeting everything through the power play. Because then everything will roll naturally according to the dynamics of the environment. Good. Alrighty, what questions do we have, team?
That was insightful, thank you. That actually really helped.
Yeah, good. That's the point. The objective is 10,000 people, 10 times better than Sigum. And yes, it sounds crazy, but I think again, it's possible we put our minds to it. All you guys want to get fantastic at Wing Chun, so let's fucking do it, right? And that's what my master wanted. Literally, his dying wish was find a better and faster way to teach what I can do, right? So let's do this. For you, I want you to, a way that you can think about it long is Bei Fan Lei. Bei Fan Lei. Sigmund would say the ultimate state can be described as Bei Fan Lei, which means like give back to you. Am I saying it right? Probably not. I'm not! Bei Fan Lei. Bei Fan Lei. Bei Fan Lei. Like give back to you or?
Oh, sorry. Bei Fan Lei.
Bei Fan Lei. Bei Fan Lei. Bei Fan Lei. Bei Fan Lei. So Bei Fan Lei. Again?
Bei Fan Lei.
Bei Fan Lei. I said Bei Fan Lei. I said it the Australian way, like the Aussies how we say Wing Chun Kung Fu. We say Wing Chun Kung Fu. That's what I do. I do Wing Chun Kung Fu, mate. Fucking Australia, mate. Australia. So Bei Fan Lei. What does that mean? It means to give back to you, meaning you're correctly placed so that the incoming pressure bounces back to them. But if you're not placed correctly, then the incoming pressure doesn't know where it should go. Do you know what I mean? So I'll borrow you again. This is an important one for everyone. So that's why I wanted to bring it up. So Lon wants to
Bei Fan
Bei
Lei.
Fan Lei.
Bei Fan Lei. This is what we all want to do, Bei Fan Lei, meaning give back to you. So this is, Lei means you, Bei Fan means give back, I'm assuming.
Bei is give, Fan, return, Lei, you.
Give, return, you.
Oh,
Give, return, you. Very good English. Sorry. Wing Chun. So Long, he's centered in his intention, he's sensing his space. He's sinking and releasing. He's targeting precisely to my center, to the back of my center, right? So from everything, turn it on, so that as soon as I touch him, nope, you're going over my shoulder. There we go. Yeah. So as soon as I touch him, I should feel Bei Fan Lei. I should feel that he's giving back any pressure I put to him is to expand the center more. Turn it on like I'm trying to punch you in the face, please. There we go. Yeah. Yeah, you have to attack Long to turn him on, FYI. If you don't attack Long, he'll just... You have to attack him. You have to attack him. And then he turns it on, see? Yeah, here we go. Put it on my center. Yeah, there we go. So now he's turning on the whole, and how? By direct correction. Simple as that. Sorry, correct direction. Yeah. So he's placing properly onto my center, which is what? When you practice your state training, it's the end of the power play. Make sense? That's what you're doing. You're directing all the incoming, any incoming pressure, mass, or direction coming into your center is going back at them. You're always targeting back to them. That's the Bei Fan leg concept, right? Everything's going back to them. Cool. All right. Thanks, all. Any other questions, observations, or discussion points, team?
That was really good. I feel these sessions are really important for all of us.
Yeah, I took this from John Danaher actually. I'm going to learn so much when we go there. Because he said, sorry?
It's the same like observations, but for G set.
Yeah, so normally, that's right, normally, yeah, but this is different because it's observations from the outside that you guys don't notice.
Yeah.
So Danaher, this is just for you guys at home, John Danaher is like the greatest submission wrestling coach of all time. Anyway, he says, make sure at the end of each session that you don't stop at the end of sparring, that you stop and take time to discuss and ask questions and give feedback to what people were doing, because that's when they're most open to improvement, because they probably would remember the times that they failed. You know what I mean? So you would have noticed when someone was getting through and going, okay, what the fuck's going on there? And because I'm saying fix with this, you'll remember it because you'll be like, okay. So that was the tip from him. And that's the guy I'm going to be training with in Austin in July. Nora and I'm going to go train with. Yeah, so I think we can take a lot of, because he's just a wizard. And he's a Kiwi too, boys. He's a Kiwi. Do you go away? Not all Kiwis are dickheads, eh, Jace? He's a good one. Righty. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh.
It's hard. Like math's very hard enough.
My pleasure.